Have you ever met a national champion? What about a two-time national champion? Well, today, folks, we talked to my friend, teammate, and an absolute badass of a man, Jordan Newman. He's an undefeated Bellator fighter. He has a history of winning. He's just a tough son of a gun. If there's someone I want on my side, if there's a bar fight, it's Jordan Newman. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, my teammate, Jordan Newman. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here with an animal of a man, a gorilla of a man, my teammate, my friend, Jordan Newman. He is a two-time national champ. He's undefeated in Bellator, and he is a man with an incredible amount of stories that I'm happy to dive into. First of all, Jordan, how you doing, and what the heck has your week been like, man?
How am I doing? I'm doing well. It's been a long week of training, coaching, pretty much the same thing I do every day, every week. So, yeah, a lot of training, a lot of coaching. I train a bunch of little kids, as you know. So the high schoolers just started back up. So I got the high schoolers getting ready for Folk Cell Nationals and getting myself ready to get ready for a fight. So, yeah, that's what I've been doing.
Okay, so first let's go all the way back in your history to when you started wrestling. How did you get into it? Was it in your family culture? And was it something you took a liking to right away? Because it's a huge part of your success in life.
I think from the beginning I liked it. I think I was kind of like one of those naturally inclined to like wrestle type, you know what I mean, athletes. The one-on-one thing I really liked, the combat aspect I really liked. But my dad was a wrestler when he was in high school. He was like kind of a later starter. And he really liked the sport. And so he got me into it when I was about like 4 or 5 years old. So I started really early, pretty much the first thing I ever did.
And how serious was it taken at that age for you?
I mean, it wasn't serious. I mean, I don't know. I can't really remember, but I remember I had a lot of matches.
Were you pushed heavily by your folks when you were a kid?
My dad was really good about it. He was really smart. He understood that, you know, pushing me too hard too early was not the right thing to do.
Because now that you're a coach from little kids all the way through high school and even some college kids, you see the other side, the dad that pushes way too hard and that burns a kid out and that really ruins a kid's ability to even become a good wrestler in the first place.
Yeah, I've seen, you know, you see that all the time in wrestling. It's one of those sports. It's becoming less of a niche sport, but it's one of those sports, especially combat sports. A lot of times you have that dad, son, sometimes also coach / dad, son, you know, relationship that you'll see in wrestling, boxing, you know, some of these other one-on-one combat sports. And you can see dads get like too into it, but it's also, you can see, you know, success stories where it's been the reason to the success. But no, my dad was really good about it, and he pushed me to want to compete, but he didn't do it unhealthily. It was good. So,
which I think we've both seen in the sport. I remember my first tournament ever. I think I was 10 years old. It was a Martinez Elite run tournament in Illinois, and I go into, like, there's a little tiny staircase. You know those staircases that go up into a stage that's kind of in a cafeteria sometimes, like just like 5 or 6 steps. There was a little kid sitting on the stairs and a grown dad, like, hunched over his kid, just screaming at him, like, you didn't want to win bad enough. It's just like, and this kid is just crying and scared, and the dad is just, like, so aggressive. And I'm like, holy shit, what did I sign up for, you know?
I think that's a reflection of, like, inadequacies probably in the dad that he's, like, projecting onto his kid. I think that's pretty much what that is. But not all the time. Sometimes, you know, the dad just cares that much, and that's just how he knows how to express it. You know what I mean? Everyone expresses things in different ways. So I'm not going to say it's always like some psychology, you know, fucking thing. But, yeah, it's a shame when you see it because it definitely turns kids off of the sport. And it also makes people think of wrestling as, like, something that's hardcore in a way that isn't, like, good for a kid, you know what I mean? And that's not the case at all. So,
well, speaking of hardcore, I would say you've had quite a crazy life in some ways, right? Like, you've had you have some remarkable stories in your journey. One thing that stands out to me is, I believe, if I have this right, you were going to a normal high school, and then you kind of got your door kicked in or something, and you end up going to a military school. Do I have that right? Tell me about that story.
Long story short, so like I was like I guess you'd call me a juvenile delinquent in a way. I like to get in a lot of trouble when I was like a young kid. It was just you're kind of turning into a man physically, and you're like rebellious, and it's like an authority complex thing, and I don't know, I just didn't want to listen to nobody, and I wanted to do things my own way, but obviously I wasn't an adult yet, so it wasn't going to work.
Mm-hmm.
But I ended up going to a military academy in Wisconsin. It was honestly one of the best things for me, though, because it gave me a fresh start, and taught me a lot of things about, personal responsibility. And
I hear that you're no stranger to forced marches and other things, that even at the academy, you still had that rebellious streak. Can you give us a vivid story or picture of something that maybe a rule you broke and a crazy punishment?
Okay, let me put some. All right, so let me think here. Lieutenant Sharp at the time, he was lieutenant, but then he enlisted. He went to the Rangers, so I don't know what that makes him, but he was a badass dude who came from the streets of Chicago and then also served time in Afghanistan and also went to that school. So they pretty much, once they realized I was a problem child, they put me with Lieutenant Sharp. And I actually his apartment, he lived there, was right across the hall from my room. So first thing in the morning, Reveille would go off. He was at my door first thing, right? So he's pounding, waking me up.
How early in the morning are we talking right now?
5:30 or 6.
Okay.
One of the two. But he made me do the one I hated the most, because here's what they realized was the problem. Like, I could you can only do physical stuff for so long. You know what I mean? So, and I was in such good shape that make me do push-ups forever, make me like roll in the sand or march. You know what I mean? You can only do that for so long. The things that I hated was I would hold up a couple times. Lieutenant Sharp would make me hold a pencil at attention. You would hold a pencil up against a wall with your forehead and stand at attention until he decided that you could leave. And then one time he caught me. I was leaning my head against the eraser of the pencil. So then he sharpened the pencil and then flipped it around.
And so the torture of it is that you have to stand still, or is it uncomfortable?
No, it's the just standing at attention. That's all it is.
And how long?
I can talk about it really negatively, but there's something about like when you leave a place like that, you romanticize it. Like it was fucking good for me. You know what I mean? I did countless push-ups. I did a lot of tours. So a tour is you walk with a rifle up and down the guard path, and I did a lot of those.
I think it's the things that are the toughest. Like they might suck as a kid, like especially some of the crazy punishments that coaches are giving out. Like one kid shows up late to a practice, and we're all doing those NASCAR laps with the 45-pound plate.
Well, you think about it now with like a positive.
It was an awesome
memory.
Time, and it made you tough, and it made you like. I'm sure that being able to do endless amounts of push-ups made you even more of an animal on the mat. So in a reality, it was actually good for us all along. One thing I'm curious about is I remember in high school we had an initiation. So as soon as you would wrestle your first varsity match at an away duel, the bus ride home is where the initiation would happen. And what it was, it's called the Sandstorm. So basically, you know how after a match, the kids are always having their snacks, their Doritos, their Cheetos. Like a lot of kids just ate like pigs after the match. And so you would find something like that and you would crunch it up in your hand, and you receiving the Sandstorm, you'd have to hold your eyes open like this, and then they blow that into your eyes. And that was the initiation into varsity, but it was also like if you told a couple unfunny jokes on the bus ride, like it was like a 3-strike policy, 3 unfunny jokes, and you'd have to get a Sandstorm again.
Is that what they told you, Tommy?
That's what I got. That's what everyone got.
Was the normal?
Yes. And
you sure everyone had to do it?
I observed it personally, and I think I even undertook.
So it wasn't just you.
It wasn't just me.
Okay.
Yeah. But did you ever go through any initiations or see anything in that side of the world?
What, wrestling or St. John's or just anything in
Either,
general?
yeah. Any sort of crazy initiation ritual.
I didn't really like that stuff. I always thought that stuff was weird.
It is kind of weird, yeah.
I always thought the hazing stuff was fucking weird. So I always tried not to participate in that. But
It just seems like
you hear of some crazy stories. I guess I'll tell you one I heard about.
Okay.
One time I heard
Allegedly.
The worst one you can do, the really scary one, is you put someone in a laundry bag.
Oh, God.
And then you open a window, and you don't actually hang them out the window, but you make them think that they are.
That sounds terrifying, dude.
Or, yeah, that's one I heard. That's a pretty bad one.
It seems like those are just cheap
But those
replacements
times are gone.
for, yeah.
Those times are gone.
Oh, that's a lawsuit. That's a front page newspaper.
When I was there, it was already kind of. We're in a time now. I mean, cell phones and just it's just hard to do.
Oh, that's one TikTok post away from an expulsion.
Culture in general isn't really. You can't bully and haze, and I think that's a good thing. So yeah. Just the way everything's gone.
I feel like the only truly good initiation rituals are more so like trial by fire, like a 28-day J-Rob camp, or
Did you ever do that?
No, but I did the 8-day SEAL camp, and then also like I remember my freshman year in college, we did a 1.5 miles of lunges with a plate, and I think even if it was only like a 10-pound plate, that was still unbelievable, and it just took, I don't know, 1.5 hours to finish that, and your legs are just so beat after that. But that to me is a legitimate ritual. But like pouring a gallon of milk on somebody's head or treating him like shit or shoving him to a locker is like.
Well, here's one I had to do. You'll remember. You remember I was late to a morning lift, and I had to push the tennis ball around the track with
your
my
nose. Yeah, that was. See, I feel like that's actually a good one too. Like that's a legitimate.
But I was primed for it. I broke that punishment.
Yeah. The punishment didn't break you. You broke it.
No, I broke the punishment. That's where they realized it wasn't. Yeah, I'd swear I did. St. John's got me ready for that one. That was good.
It is strange, though, how we look back on those memories so fondly, whereas, like, those were the days, like, the tough things that we encountered. But when you were experiencing it, you were lunging, you were like, why the hell are we doing this many lunges? Especially, I think, at the time, I don't know what time this guy left, because I know I was a sophomore when you were a freshman, but there was that guy, I think his name was Nick, and he was like a college kicker turned strength coach that was kind of like way out of shape, and everything he had us do, that he couldn't even do like 10% of it, but he made us really tough. Like, I think he was the guy that came up with. Oh
yeah, Nick. No, I remember. Yeah.
But he was like Satan.
His lifts.
Yeah, and he was tough. But I remember another one where it was like, okay, so when I was a freshman in college, I hadn't lost my virginity yet. It was like my freshman year, in between semester, I went to Costa Rica and I lost my virginity there.
Not surprised.
Yeah, get out of here, dude. But we had this. I remember he had this drill where we had to go into the racquetball courts, put a 45-pound plate onto a towel, and just endlessly pushing that plate back and forth. And I remember my thighs rubbed against my nutsack so much from pushing that I thought I had an STD. And I was like, how the fuck am I the only guy that hasn't even lost his virginity but still got an STD? You know what I mean?
Did you go to the school nurse?
Ah, dude, I wasn't about to do that. I was ready to die if I had to before going to the school nurse. So there was I feel like an aura. If I remember your entry into college wrestling, you called our coach, Chris Heilman, at the last minute and said, I'm coming to Whitewater.
That is true.
Are you at liberty to say what you were doing previous to that phone call? Like, what was your life like at that point?
So here's what it was. I was right out of high school, and so I'm in Wisconsin, but my family lived in Minnesota.
Okay.
And I wasn't necessarily in the best place with my parents to be, like, going back to home to Minnesota. Mm-hmm. And, yeah, I could tell you a crazy story about that.
Let's hear it.
Oh, man. First off, it's about my mom. She's gone now, but loved her either way, no matter what, and I don't care. But So I come back. It's my 18th birthday. I come to Minnesota, and I wanted to grab some stuff that I thought I had at my house or my parents' house. And I have friends over, and we're hanging out. And the neighbor calls the police because my parents are gone, and the neighbors know that my parents are gone.
You having a
So
little bit
they
of
call the
drinking
cops,
going on.
right? Yeah, we're in the garage drinking beer.
Yeah.
The cops show up. We all get in trouble. We all get caught, right? They call my mom. My mom's like, no. Bring him to jail. Charge him with trespassing.
Your own house.
And yeah, I did. I got charged with trespassing. I swear to God, it was crazy. Craziest moment ever. She went to court with me and everything. She made me, yeah.
It's interesting how, like, at the moment when your parents are extra tough on you, you really don't like them for it, but then you realize, like, they were doing the right thing.
Yeah.
I had something similar where my mom, basically there's this teacher that couldn't run a classroom, and I tried running it for her, and I was just being rambunctious and kind of a class clown. And I remember her calling the principal because she just got enough calls, or like this teacher would send like little letters home that would be like on like a pink note about my misbehavior, but she would do nothing about it. So eventually my mom called the principal and like gave them permission to give me detentions, you know? So I would go to detention just because my mom was like, give him a detention, you know? And
She was looking out for you.
yes, and it ended up being good because discipline is extremely important. We see that, especially.
And you're one of the most disciplined guys I've known through wrestling, you know, and I think obviously it's helped you a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so it's a blessing in disguise. It's something that now when you look back, you can be thankful for. And even, you know, my pop's gone too, but I can look back and be like, man, like at the time I thought they were tough, or I thought they were, you know, out of control or a little crazy, but now I'm like, okay, I get it, and they did a good job. But from what I know, you were a little bit of a cowboy, an outlaw.
Oh, I can keep telling you my
Yes,
story.
tell
about
you
going
your
to
story.
Whitewater.
Yes.
All right, so I don't go home, whatever. By this point, me and Ben Askren, we're really tight. Me and Max Askren are tight. They have an academy close to the military academy I'm going to, right? So naturally, I go there, you know, to get some wrestling, and Ben kind of takes me under his wing, and as far as teaching me, you know, technique and really kind of just setting a good example for me. So I had big aspirations as far as like, you know, doing really well at Fargo. I was like a match away from placing at Fargo, so I didn't do as well as I wanted to. So my plan then was to train with Max for a year and then go to walk on at Mizzou. And
So you were going to take a whole year off between high school and college just to train and dedicate yourself.
Exactly. But just at the time, it would have been better for me to go right into school and get the structure. I was young and I was used to the structure of, you know, the military academy. And I wasn't making, you know, being my best boss as far as, you know, training, lifestyle, all that stuff. So it was the right decision to go to a school right away. And
that was your plan initially, though, that you just came up with to, hey, I'm going to take a year off and do this.
Yeah, that's what it was, because I felt that I was good enough, you know, to wrestle Division I and walk on anywhere and be able to do well.
Because you were kind of running your own life at this point. You were not, like, mom or dad was not really instructing your path at this time.
No, yeah, not at all. No, I was just doing what I wanted to do.
Were you renting an apartment nearby? Like, how were you even living at this point?
So right now I'm living in an apartment. I'm neighbors with my high school wrestling coach, who also lives there in the town, Delafield, like right outside of St. John's, the academy. So I'm there, and then school's about to start, right? So I want to go somewhere. So I had, you know, Division III schools, all the top ones all wanted me. So I called Heilman, and I called the Augsburg coach, the lacrosse coach, and then I called Heilman. I was like, I'll be there tomorrow.
You called each of them and said the same thing?
I'm pretty sure that's what I did. Yeah.
And did you know which you were actually going to show up to, or did you just...
No, I didn't. But Whitewater was the closest one, so I figured that'd be the easiest one to get to. But really what it was Heilman went to I had a good relationship with Heilman, and that's what did it. He saw the potential. he knew I was going to be a national champ in the Division III level when he recruited me. So that's why I went there. It was because of Heilman. But, yeah. And then so I went to Whitewater. It was like 3 days before school started, and I hadn't been applied or signed up or anything. And he brought me through the admissions, and we got it all done. And, yeah, then I went there.
So
and I stayed with a kid, Connor Fussner, for like a week, and then school started. Sorry, my voice. I had like a cold for like 2 weeks. I'm like running out of air when I talk.
So now your career is being a professional fighter, but in college, one of my first memories of you involved a fight. I remember you came over to my house, and you had a bloody sweatshirt that you either wanted me to help wash to kind of eliminate evidence, or you wanted me to hide it or put it in the trash.
Hide or throw away. But I like the sweatshirt, so I didn't want you to throw away. So
you had an awful lot of fights in college, right? Like I remember maybe football players trying to jump you. Like walk us through your fighting experience before you even made it a profession.
So ever since, let me say this. So from like a young age, I always was like trying to be a fighter. Me and all my friends, like for fun, all we did was fight. Like when I was like a 12-year-old, like we'd meet at the park and fight. Like we'd meet the kids from the other side to go fight. Like we all met at the park and would fight. That's what all we'd do. We'd set up fights, talk shit, whatever. So.
And have you been winning them for a long time? Like, did you ever have a period of your life where you got your ass kicked a lot, or were you always kicking ass?
I mean, when you're a kid and you're setting up like fake UFC fights, like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, you're not going to win all of them, you know, but I think I pretty much beat a lot of people up, you know what I mean? And you get into other scraps around other stupid stuff, you know, maybe someone owes someone money for an ounce of weed or something they didn't pay him back for, and you got to go beat someone up. Like, we were stupid kids.
So were you kind of an enforcer in a way?
No, I wouldn't say that. We were just dumb kids, and that was the normal, like, amongst my friends. Like, that was the normal. Like, that was pretty normal.
Okay, another rumor I heard about you that I want to know if it's true or not. Did you show up that day that you came and actually said, I'm going to Whitewater? Did you show up with a bunch of cash and pay your tuition cash?
I did show up with a bunch of cash. I did not give it to the school though, right? I'll tell you that much.
I was wondering
what
how
happened to it. You want to hear a true story?
Okay.
How many people know this fucking story?
Okay.
This is nuts.
Okay.
All right. This is nuts. So here's where the term whitewater wasted comes from. So yeah, so I had this fucking wad of cash. I don't need to fucking tell you anything more than that, but I had this wad of cash, right? Mm-hmm. And I fucking had it with me all times in my pocket. Anyone who knows me knows I had this like Carhartt jacket. I'd fucking keep it in, this whole deal. Well, because I've never let it out of my sight, because you never know who can steal, you know, who'll steal from you to the least expect it. It's crazy. I learned that, you know, but, and you'll learn that, you know, doing that kind of stuff. But, no, I got super drunk like my first night in Whitewater, and I stumble into some house that's not even mine.
Oh, God.
Like a house away from Fussner's house where I'm staying. I still don't know the truth of what happened here.
Those apartments actually look identical, so it's not that
Fox
bad.
Gloves.
Yeah, the
For
Fox
any
Gloves.
Whitewater folks out there, you know what I'm talking about.
So it's more
I got
understandable.
a crazy brawl in the Fox Gloves once too.
Yeah.
But yeah, this guy had the Jimmy John, or the, what's the sub place with the surfboard?
I'll have to think. But anyway, Jersey Mike's.
Jersey Mike's. This guy has a surfboard. I see it. So I go into his house because I want the surfboard. And I don't know what happens. I don't know, like, if I tried riding the surfboard, like, what happened. But I pretty much lose memory. I wake up. I'm at the other house I'm supposed to be at, but I don't have any of my cash. I'm like, don't have anything. And I'm like, it was terrible. So that was like my very first night in Whitewater.
Okay. And so from what I understand, like, so
I made it all back real quick.
You made it back real quick?
I made it back real quick.
Good.
But yeah, it was crazy. It was like $1,000 or something. I fucking lost.
Did you get jumped a lot at school? Because I feel like I
No,
always
no.
heard about stories where it'd be like you versus 4 football players. The thing is, guys,
No, here's what it is.
I just want to clarify one thing. The reason I never saw like your fights, Adcock's fights, whoever, like all the guys that used to fight on the wrestling teams, I was like the grandpa. I would be the guy that would be in bed by like 10, 11 p.m. and I'd always hear about the fight the morning after.
You would have a beer and then you would go run on the stair stepper.
Yeah, that was my thing. That was how I get my edges. I would have a beer, have a couple puffs, and then I'd go sneak into the wrestling room and go on the Stairmaster for like an hour or run around town and just get the extra cardio in, you know?
No, my thing was I had a friend that we both were tough guys and we were both trying to show each other how tough we were. So, like, if anyone was going to talk or say anything, we just wouldn't let it go. Like, you can let something go, but, like, when you know you can smack a fool, like, there's something tempting about, like, when someone says something, just not letting it go and pushing it to the point of a fight. And if you know it's going to go to a fight, you know, you hit them first. And I don't know what it is nowadays, but no one wants to fight by themselves anymore. So you fight one person, you knock them out, someone's going to jump in. So now you're fighting another person. Your friend jumps in. Now 2 more people jump in. All of a sudden it's like
It's a melee.
it's a jump or whatever you want to call it. But I would never say no. People are trying to jump me. When I think of that, I think of like a gang or something. But no, it wasn't like that. It was like bar fights where
One-on-one escalates
people were
to
trying
more.
to help their buddy because he was getting his ass beat.
Now that you've reflected, now that you're actually doing this as a professional and maybe there's a bunch of young men listening to this, how would you reflect on your time fighting and what would be your advice to your younger self about all the fights you had?
It's fun, but you're always going to lose something whether you win or lose the fight. You always lose something. Like whether you break your watch or you get a tooth busted, or you get your eye cut, or you hurt somebody, and then that person's friends with someone who's friends with you, or like you break something in the process. Like there's always just something wrong or negative that's going to come from it. So do it if you want, but expect a negative consequence no matter what every single time. So.
And did you ever get a negative consequence as far as like from the law or the school?
No.
You're pretty good at being undercover.
Here's the key: if you're gonna hit someone, hit them fast, and then get out of there. You got to run right away,
and then deliver your sweatshirt to someone else's house for them to take care of.
Hey, here's what happened. I fight this guy. He's drunk. He says that I cheap shotted him. He goes back in the party and finds me. We go back out and we fight again. And that's how it got all bloody and stuff. But yeah.
Understandable.
Just so you know, I gave that. That was one where I tried not to.
So I want to get into your championship run because you had a 2-year run of being one of the most dominant wrestlers in D3 wrestling. Before that, I want to talk about, I think it was your sophomore year. You All-American that year.
Oh, no.
And you struggled with your weight cuts or you just went off the deep end. Like I remember, what was it? I think you won your last match of the day and then you realized you were 11 or 12 pounds over that you had to cut by the next morning. Do you remember this? 16. Can you walk us through that experience and how you handled that?
Well, you know, because you were there, but so everyone else can hear.
Were you up all night cutting weight?
Yeah, here's the problem. I literally tore the muscle in my quad where, I mean, fuck, I took anatomy classes, I should fucking know. But I tore right above my kneecap where the quad kind of meets the knee, that teardrop. I mean, I guess some people will call that when you flex on that quad there. Right, I was doing a super duck on someone at a home duel, and it was early in the match, and my knee was just sweaty enough to catch on the mat, but not sweaty enough to slip. So I went down to touch the knee before I ripped, the super duck, and my knee caught on the mat, and I pulled, and I tore my quad there. So I didn't wrestle live or was able to condition hard for, a good period of time until nationals. Yeah. So that's what affected my weight. So my weight got up. I'm cutting to 74, but I tore my quad, so the weight cut is hard.
Did it hurt to run, or how did you cut weight at that point?
I was doing combinations of like jumping jacks and like running, but it was more just like bending my knee and like touching my knee to the mat or like flexing that muscle, but the muscle wouldn't flex. So I had this like teardrop shaped like foam pad that I had cut out because a regular pad, if I bent my knee, would like pull the muscle. So if you remember, I had like a Tempur-Pedic gel
Okay.
like crescent shaped thing that would like fit around the outside of my knee. So yeah, I'm 16 pounds over in this motherfucker, right?
And you have about 12 hours to
Yeah,
go
it's
to
terrible.
make weight.
It's like 7 o'clock was my last match. I'm
Did
like
you
16
honestly think
pounds
you could have
over.
made that weight?
Well, I only missed by like 0.2, so obviously I could have.
But when you saw yourself 16 pounds over, you're like, oh, I've been here, done that before, no big deal. Or were you like, oh my gosh, this is a lot more than
I
I
knew it was a
expected?
lot, but I've done 14 before earlier that year.
Okay.
You know what I mean? 15 before. I mean, I was doing 12 pounds in high school if I needed to. You know what I mean? So, no, I knew it had to be done in order to, do as well as I wanted to do. So I wasn't even really worried about it. I was just going to do what I had to do to make the weight. But, so yeah, I'm cutting weight all night. And the issue is I'm in a sweatsuit. And you're not supposed to use those. Mm-hmm. Those are not good.
People in college wrestling have died from sauna suits because they just were too dehydrated,
Yeah, if I get in trouble or something, maybe I edit that out. I'm not sure, but definitely was illegal NCAA-wise.
If it makes you feel better, I've worn a sauna suit before, and I think scores of us have. So,
well, I still have a national title and stuff, you know what I mean? Not that I could do anything to that, but I wouldn't want anyone to be like, oh, your All-American goes away because you fucking wore a sweatsuit or whatever. But, yeah, I cut a bunch of weight, and the thing is, those things overheat you, and I've never touched one since, and they're still commonly used by fighters, wrestlers. Anyone I ever see using one now, I go honestly tell you, I've told them to take it off and not use it, and I tell them the story I'll tell you now. So I had this thing on for 12 hours the whole night, and then I'm losing all the weight, but I'm like passing out and shit. It's like 4 a.m. and I'm like trying to take like little naps, but my face and my feet are like going a little numb and stuff. Obviously because like circulation issues and shit. But so I get to the tournament. I got like 4 or 3 pounds to go. I'm not feeling that bad though. I'm like, all right, I can make this weight. So I got my good homie Tommy G with me, right? He's helping me cut the weight. I was like, I need someone to like try to wrestle with and shit.
I remember the coaches coming up to me like, Jordan's really close. He just has a couple more pounds to go. He needs a partner to get this final weight off.
So I wouldn't run because my leg hurt, and I was like, I need a partner. I'm not doing it unless I can wrestle.
Mm-hmm.
And so it gets a little fuzzy, but I remember me and you were wrestling, and I'm like kind of passing out and shit. That's like what I kind of remember.
There was multiple times, probably that, like, cause we were doing, I would say we worked out for maybe 30, 40 minutes, and it was just anything to keep you going, but you're kind of on the edge of your capacity of a human. And like, I remember like different times we'd be pummeling and like you just go limp, and I'm like, how is the strongest guy know if he's going limp, something's really not good, because you're usually the guy that's getting people to go limp because you're the one squeezing and applying the pressure.
I was dead. It was bad. I was dead. Yeah, my internal temperature was super hot, and it was so hot that even though I was extremely dehydrated, when I drank for the first time, when I decided it was like, so like I lose consciousness, right? And then I wake up to you and a couple other people. I'm not trying to put anybody on blast.
Yeah, just I'll be the only
taking my clothes off, right?
Ripping the sauna suit. So we basically dragged Jordan into a closet.
Because I got sauna suit and then I'm naked under the sauna suit. You know what I'm saying? So I wake up to people like pulling everything off of me, right? And I'm like, I think I throat grabbed the trainer.
Yeah, you did. You like, it was like a zombie movie where like the zombie wakes up and is like, ugh! And so, yeah, we had to drag Jordan to a place that we know we could get the sauna suit off him, because that wouldn't have been kosher if officials found that. And also, we just wanted this guy to live. I think at that point, like, we weren't even caring about wrestling as much as just like,
well, the cool cement that's what I remember, the cool cement of the stairwell.
Yeah, so we had to get you right. We had to dispose of the suit and then get your your sweats back on. And what happened after that? Did you injury defaulted out of that, didn't you? Your kidneys must have been...
Yeah, it was bad. I went to go check weight, and I was still like barely over, but there just wasn't time, and it wouldn't have been the right decision to like do anything past that. I mean, I lost consciousness, and I had like literally a torn quad, which then took me like a whole year to rehab and shit. It sucked, but
it's amazing I mean, there's an element of you just do what you have to do. Like I remember the that Coach Fader called me one time, and I was trying to get back down to 149, and I had ballooned up when I lost my virginity in Costa Rica. I was enjoying myself, and then I came back, and he's like, "Hey, you got to weigh in at this for a tournament." He called me on a Wednesday, and we were competing on like a Saturday, and I was 18 pounds over, and I made it. I've never missed weight, but I was so dead by the first match. I got trounced by a pussy, dude. Like a guy that I should have.
Cutting weight sucks.
Yeah, a
That's
guy
why
that
don't
I
cut weight anymore.
easily could have teched or pinned anywhere else. I think he beat me like 8-0, 10-0. I just felt like just completely lifeless. And so I feel like there's an element of those battle stories are nice to have and good to share, but once you like become older and you start to learn about proper nutrition, proper weight cutting, you realize that was stupid. Like, why did we ever do that?
Yeah, it's our job to tell the next generation of wrestlers, and I coach kids, and I tell them not to cut weight. You know what I mean? So you used to cut weight. I know you used to cut weight hard.
Mm-hmm.
I saw you cutting weight hard in college, and it's good only to a certain level, but what we think is acceptable, the way that we think to do it, like you still have to compete against another man. Like that's not, and there's so many other things that go into it, not just like it's, the stress on your brain, from dehydration to
like the last couple of days of classes.
Neurologically, you're slower because you'd have less glycogen for fuel. Even hormonally, you suffer. You cut weight for 3 weeks like a wrestler. There's no one who's even studied it just because it's not ethical to study a wrestler under those conditions. Like it would never get approved. But if you could study a wrestler doing, the hardcore weight cutting activities that they do to make weight, like you would be able to see just how bad it is for your kidneys, your hormones, your brain. There's all types of, different negative effects of rapidly dehydrating and starving your body and then competing at like an intense, capacity. So
do you remember like the last couple of days of a weight cut when you'd have to go to class? Like, I don't know about you, but I remember just times where I would just lay my head on my arm the entire time, or like anytime you had to go to a class that was upstairs, it was like,
it's
like
terrible.
taking stairs was like, you felt like an elderly man. Like you just,
Bro, I remember being a fucking 8th grader making like trash bag sweatsuits and like fucking eating lean cuisines and like fucking doing stupid ass bullshit. But no, luckily I was into exercise science in school. So I got, I understand how the body works and breaks down and utilizes energy. So once I learned that, I was good. And that's what helped me succeed a lot. But before that, it was all trial and error and fucking doing bullshit. It fucks you up.
So then did you take a year off of wrestling until you went back on your rampage, right? Did you take a gray shirt?
Yeah, because because my quad was fucked up. And the only reason I was wrestling was because it happened, at the third quarter of the year. And it was like, all right, well, I got to tape it and wrestle, you know what I mean?
So you took 1 year off, you got absolutely yoked, and then you went on a 2-year streak of...
I was already yoked, if you ask me.
You were already yoked, but you took it to an even scarier level.
Well, I stopped cutting weight.
Yeah. But you were packed. And so talk about that legendary era, because, there's few guys that have attained what you've attained in the sport, going on a 2-year in a row streak like that. Talk about what it felt like.
Here's what it was. So like my sophomore year, I was close. Like I beat the guy that took second in that bracket that year. I beat him in the Wheaton finals. You know what I mean? So I was up there with some of those best guys. I was not as good as I was, obviously, by the time I won it. What did it was, so it was a combination. It was like a perfect storm. It was a combination of working for Askren and getting all that technique. So going around with Ben and doing the summer camps. And then it was also, I had like an obsession to get stronger because I saw a couple guys who, so like all the guys at the top of each bracket were all, fucking strong. And that's how wrestling is. A lot of the guys who were before us, like TJ Deckers, Elmers, Cedric, Gibson, all these guys were like honestly, you, Tommy G, all these guys were like really heavy into the strengthening. And I thought that I had like great technique, and I was always strong, but I was kind of more like wiry strong or like grip strong. And I was like, I'm going to get like really, really explosive strong. And I had been I had a good base because I'd been exposed to good strength conditioning coaches from a young age, but I just took it to like a daily lift every day, eat every day, wrestle every day.
Would you say you were obsessive?
Yeah, every day. I mean, there wasn't a day where I didn't do 100 pull-ups for like fucking like 5 years. Like, not exaggerating. Like, I don't do it like that anymore because I'm like focusing on my fighting, and like I'm like do the bag every day or whatever. But in college, it was pull-ups, push-ups, curls, kickbacks, kettlebells, squats, Russian side lunges, like every day, like obsessively. I
feel like each really good guy would kind of pick their own lane to be a really, really tough. And like some guys could just squat the whole gym. I remember like my thing was doing as many push-ups as I could. I loved doing those car pushes.
I think me and you were similar in what we liked to do with that stuff. Mm-hmm. A combination of like strength and cardio.
Yeah, like putting the level 20 up on the Stairmaster and just seeing how long you could go for and just testing yourself.
You were a beast at that.
Yeah, that was one of my things.
You were a beast at that.
Was there an exercise you remember that you felt like you were like almost like a world-class athlete at, or like this was your special exercise that was such a badass thing to do or a tough thing to do?
My strength is like mostly felt in like the wrestling or the fighting. Like whenever, that's where it's felt the most. Like, there's always been guys who bench more than me, squat more than me. I mean, I had a 500-pound squat, though, which is pretty fucking good. Mm-hmm. I think I had, like, a 335 bench. Maybe I hit 345 once. But I remember there's guys, getting over 400 and stuff. But I did 225 for 21 reps on the spring weightlifting,
That's like
test.
An NFL combine type of number.
No, it is. Yeah. So, I mean, I did that combined with a 500-pound squat, and those are the two highest numbers I got in that. I don't remember what I got for the clean, but it was pretty good. I think it was like 2 red plates.
Now, you bring up a really good point, which makes me think. Like, I remember there was 241-pounders that we had Matt Adcock and we had Max Hubbard, rest in peace to that guy, and great, both wonderful people. But I remember Matt Adcock wasn't as strong in the gym, but when he put his hands on you in the room, like you just felt his strength. Whereas Max Hubbard could lift up a ton of weight, but he felt like his style was a lot lighter. And there is something to be said for weight room strength and actually grappling strength. And one of your mentors and friends, Ben Askren, is another representation of this. Like, you look at that guy's body and you're like, he's probably going to be an easy matchup. And then you feel his strength and you're like, holy shit, like, where did this guy come from? Talk more about that.
Yeah, don't let him fool you. He's strong. He's got strong hips, core, back, shoulders. It's not all the places that you think you have to be strong that it really matters for combat sports. I mean, look at some of the top fighters. Yeah, a lot of the ones with like wrestling backgrounds, the Usmans, guys like that, and their bodies are going to be, shaped from the wrestling they've done their whole life. But you look at a lot of fighters, a lot of them don't have that body composition. I don't know where I'm going with this, but
okay. So you win your first title. Did you even have any close D3 matches in your 2 years where you win your first and second title?
I had one kid that beat me, but I was about to tack him, and then he pinned me.
He caught you,
and then I beat him, and then I was like a point away from tacking him, and he pinned me.
Okay.
And then I wrestled him again in the conference finals, and I beat him 14-2. And I think his points were only like unnecessary roughness from me.
Yeah, because you were trying to kill him.
Trying to kill him, yeah.
Okay.
I was being mean to him and talking shit to him. So the ref.
You have some of the most badass photos of you winning the title. Like, your flex in that picture is ridiculous. Like, I love showing people like, yeah, this is what a wrestler looks like, and then showing them your picture. But once you won your first title, was there pressure that second time around? Like, how did you feel going into that second run?
Well, I was trying to wrestle and win the Midlands tournament, and I thought I had like D3s in the bag. Like I got the year before, I got tech in the semifinals and then a pin in the finals. So I was kind of like, I got this kind of under wraps, and I had set myself to try to win Midlands.
Which is a very tough D1 tournament.
Yeah, I mean, now it's not the same. And even then it was getting lighter, but then it was still pretty competitive. But this was the first year that they essentially took out all Division III, NAIA, even like, I don't even think it was D2. I think it was like only D1 teams. And it was like, it cut the pool in like half. So it was like whack. So I trained all summer. To win Midlands. So I was training harder than I've ever trained. And then they didn't allow us to wrestle in it. So I was like almost over prepared then. You know what I mean? Which is a good thing, obviously, for, for Division III nationals, in my opinion. At least for how I had set Midlands in my, my goal.
So let's talk about the mentality of a champion. And I forgot who had this quote, but I really loved it, which was like, your pre-match ritual. For me, it was like a lot of like pacing like a caged animal. Like if I could look at my opponent and kind of let him like just communicate with my eyes what was about to happen. Like I love to kind of set that tone before I even stepped on the mat. But I heard a guy talking, don't listen to yourself, but talk to yourself. And what he meant by that is like sometimes when you just listen to your mind, like the doubt, oh, my legs feel a little bit tired, or oh, this guy looks a little strong. Like you can have your demons creeping, but if you speak to yourself, like I'm the man, I'm the champ, no one can touch me. Like if you tell yourself a message, then you can really prepare, like fortify your mind before you step out. What was your preparation, mental preparation like, in pre-match ritual like?
Well, there's definitely like a nutrition thing that I was big on. I definitely had to be like glycogen loaded. That was huge. I had to make sure I was neurologically ready to go. So that means like a good warm up. And then the mental aspect was mostly just like, I would like see a pathway to like my setup to my double to the finish. And I would like think my whole way through it. If it like went perfectly, like I fake, I snap, I shoot my double, I drive him across, my shoulder's in his belly. He tries to get to his belly. I fucking half him. I sink my chest. I pin him. I get my hand raised. Like that's like what I'm thinking. So
you did a lot of visualization.
Tons of it. And I do it all day long. Yeah, it's like one of the main things I do all day long. I did it in school. Like I've done it a lot. But I just picture winning. And then I just keep picturing winning over and over. And then, yeah, that's pretty much what I do. I say just win. Just win.
If I describe your style, I would say like you're kind of a brutal wrestler. You like to really physically impose your will on people. You like them to remember what it's like. Like no one forgets a match with Jordan Newman. Like they know that they're going to be physically dismantled. They're going to get manhandled. And I'm sure that was all part of the plan, but like walk me through how you would describe your style.
I would say my style was like fast and explosive. I did a lot of singles. I did a lot of doubles. Those are my main attacks. I was really good on top by the end. I think I got that from Askren. My top control, even now from MMA and stuff, like I feel like I can literally hold anyone down in the world. I don't know anyone my weight that I know. I don't think I can't hold down for like a good period of time. So my top control, it was like, honestly what it is, it's like a style. I think it's like, and I tell my kids this that I coach, it's like I had like a basic Minnesota feet heavy style where it's a lot of upper body, a lot of repetitions of doubles, high crotches, duck unders. Our kind of style was like fast attacking on the feet. You're from Illinois. You guys got a similar style in Illinois. It was that style. That's what I came up with. Take him down and cut him. Yeah, exactly. That's what I came up with. But then I met Askren, and I got his whole funky top control, whole different thought process on the wrestling. So it gave me a combination of those two things. And a lot of people see my size and my strength, and they it equates to them, you know, a brutish style, but really that's really not what it is.
I wouldn't say you were gentle with anybody.
No, I was mean. I wrestled with an attitude because I wanted to fuck people up. And that's just like, I don't know, it's just been like part of me since I can't remember since whenever, I don't know, since I was a kid.
So you win 2 national titles. Did you know instantly you were going to be a fighter? What was that transition like into the fight world?
Yeah, I knew I was going to fight. I knew I was going to be fighting. From like a kid, I thought I was going to be fighting eventually. I always wanted to be a fighter. And what Ben told me, he said, if I win a national title, then I'll help you fight. And I already got one, so I'm like, I'm getting another one. So I already know I'm fighting. So I saw Ben was undefeated at the time, Askren. He was making, you know, fucking good money, undefeated, top of the world. So I was like, yeah, that looks like the fucking answer for sure. So, yeah, got the titles, whatever. And then, but my senior year, I was already training for fighting. So I got a coach I specifically got him in to help me train for the Midlands. This guy, his name's Jim Savage, right? He is a savage. He's fucking savage. He's a crazy dude. Yeah. Anyone knows him, he's a crazy dude. And so Jim, I brought him in as a partner. He's strong. He's my weight. He's been at the OTC. I mean, he knows everybody from Cormier to Cejudo to fucking anybody. You know what I mean? He knows all the big names in wrestling, Zadok, fucking everybody. And so I brought him in to help me train for the Midlands. That didn't go through, but he was like, well, fuck, bro, I fought. He used to fight. He'd been around a lot of fighters. He was like, I know you're going to fight. So he started holding pads for me my senior year. So my whole senior year, I would do, like, my workout would be like 400, 500 shots and then like 30 minutes of pads. And, like, that's what I did. So, like, I was already getting ready to fight because I already knew once I wasn't wrestling Midlands, I was like, I know I'm winning D3s. So I was like, I might as well get myself ready to fight because I'm going to fight right away.
Did you do a lot of your own practices? Like, you didn't do a lot of team practices, or did you?
No, I did. I did do the team practices, but I was kind of allowed to do what I wanted inside of that practice.
Because it was hard to find you a practice partner because
I was so physical and kind of mean that I would just fucking hurt people. And
so it was hard to keep a guy ready to fight. So you get that.
Well, my intensity was so high, and like I just want to win. Like, it's still a problem with me today. Like, if I'm doing that though, take it as a compliment because that means that, you know, I see you as an actual fucking, you know, have an ability to actually do something. So it's like I don't know. I'm just like so competitive. I can't not do it. If you're my size, I have to fucking. I have to be the one shooting the whole time. Like, if it's practice, I want to be the one that shoots the whole fucking time. I don't want to, you shoot, I shoot, you shoot, I shoot. I want to shoot for an hour straight.
So because you just beat the shit out of everybody in the room, you got to do your own practices, and that's where you got to develop your own striking with Jim Savage. And so how helpful was wrestling as you transitioned into the fighting world? Because you were already sparring with pro-level guys from pretty much the beginning of your fight career, right?
I sparred with with pros from day one. So I went to Rufus Sport, and day one, Duke told me, here's a headgear, here's gloves, here's shin pads, you need to go spar. It was a Monday, first day of the week. That's the hard spar day. And they threw me in day one. So from day one, when I went into fighting, into mixed martial arts, take one. The wrestling was fucking huge. My wrestling is good enough to where even if you're a high level, even if you're in the UFC, if I get, you know, into a clinch position to where I can take you down, my control, I mean, I don't know how to submit you yet, but I can pick you up and slam you. I can keep you down. I can keep you down and punch you. It doesn't take a genius to hold you down and ground and pound you. You know what I mean? So right away it was apparent that the wrestling was, you know, super important. And it was what made me valuable enough to bring me into a pro level room and start me off with, you know, guys in the UFC from day one. So, you know, so I was like with Brendan Allen, Gerald Mearshart. We had Jared Gordon in there. We had
Bilal Muhammad.
We had Bilal Muhammad
Paul
in there.
Felder.
We had Paul Felder in there.
Anthony Pettis.
Yeah, I can't forget Pettis. Sergio. You know, so we had a lot of killers, and I mixed it up with all of them, you know what I mean, from day one. So, but my wrestling was important because I could teach the wrestling, you know, a little bit. So then that, you know, they'll teach me some striking or a kick or whatever. So, you know, it helps that way too.
Was striking uncomfortable at the beginning? Because I did a fair amount of practices at Roofer Sport. When I did an amateur fight, and it was always nice when it was MMA practice, because if it ever got too dangerous on our feet, okay, I'll take the guy down and I'll be safe. But if it was just like a pure kickboxing sparring session, some of it was like, it was a little uncomfortable to be in that position. It was also frustrating knowing like I could take this guy down 10 times out of 10 times, but now I have to just get like beat up on my feet. Did you ever experience any of that in the transition?
Well, yeah, there was times where they wouldn't let me wrestle, and I still spar like that. Like if I spar, honestly, I don't even do takedowns. I just spar on the feet because that's what I'm trying to get better at. And that's like what I focus at. Like I know I can take anyone down. My takedown percentage is 100% right now in Bellator. But I don't know. I knew I could hit hard. I knew I was strong. And like if you knock someone out before, like you know you can. Like, if you knock someone out, like, it's like, you know you can knock someone out. And then it's like, you know you have that. So, like, I don't know. Once you get used to getting punched and once you get used to your legs and your feet fucking hurting, then it's like, whatever.
How long did it take to feel comfortable in the striking world, would you say?
I don't know. I mean, I don't think striking is something you want to be like, yeah, you're comfortable, but it's like there's always like an uncomfortability to it, or you're not really doing it that hard. I don't know. You're throwing punches at each other. Like when we drill Roofer Sport, we're drilling live. You know what I mean? I like to spar. When I spar, I like to spar hard. Like, yeah, I am definitely comfortable, but I don't know. Maybe.
Like, do you still get jitters on hard sparring day, but you still get just that little bit of, okay, we're about to get into something?
If I've been doing it for 3 weeks straight, it all goes away. It's like only if you haven't done it for like a little bit, your body will get it a little bit. But now, no, not at all. Like I understand this, so I've purposely gone to different gyms, different places, different scenarios where no one knows me, boxing gyms, kickboxing only gyms, places where you can't wrestle, and put myself against good people. And just to get that feeling out of, I'm gonna spar somebody I don't know. Like I've been at B&B's boxing, you know, where Crawford trains out of, and gone with some good strikers there, and you know, some good strikers in a lot of fucking places.
So as our coach Fader in college used to say, you gotta be comfortable being uncomfortable, and you really took ownership of that and put yourself in tough situations so you could grow.
I went on a spree of that for a long time, and I'm about to go on another spree of that right now. I think it's good to go around and get training with different people and stuff, and get Shark Tanked a little bit. It's good to have a bunch of different people want to beat you up and not be in your home turf.
So you're 4-0, 5-0.
5-0 for
5-0,
Bellator.
undefeated in Bellator. What's the path for you? And is it still hard to get people to agree to fight you?
No, so here's what it is. When I'm first starting out, you know, the matchmakers are, you know, you got to find an appropriate level of opponent.
Because in your amateur career, it was really hard for people to agree to fight you. Because if they see a college wrestler, especially one as decorated as you, no one takes that fight.
Exactly. I had a quick one. So I took my first amateur fight I hadn't even been training a whole month yet. So I was so green that the guy I was fighting was like a black belt in jiu-jitsu. Like he didn't have good hands, but he had, you know, decent enough jiu-jitsu. And so they thought that I was green enough that it would be, you know, good potential for him to submit me or something. But I knocked him out bad.
Spinning back fist, right?
Yeah, spinning back fist knocked him out. I never practiced it either. I just seen Anthony throwing it in the room, and I was like, all right, I'm going to try that shit. Fucking boom, knocked him out.
That was an amazing moment.
Oh, I knocked him out. It was great. I saw it, yeah. But anyways, I don't know where I'm going with this now, too. But.
So what's your plan to conquer? Because your goal is to be a champion one day.
So my amateur career wasn't very long because I knocked that guy out. And then, yeah, I was just like, what's the point of being amateur when I know I can go pro? So I signed with Bellator right away. They gave me, a 5-fight contract. They gave me a 6-fight contract, but one of the fights was for when COVID happened. So I got paid for it, but it didn't happen. So like they counted it. But so yeah, 5-0. Right now I'm right at the level of where I'm about to be pushing into real competition against guys who, have accolades, have records, have rankings, things like this. So right now I'm ready. I can beat any one of these people. So it's just making the right matchup right now. I'm positioning myself to keep getting better and taking over at 185.
So is it likely that this next fight could be a top 15 opponent, and this could be your way to start cracking into?
Yeah, it's looking like this next fight is a top 15. I got
Nice.
potential, a couple good matchups. I think they want a Romero Cotton matchup. He was a D2 national champ.
I thought that you were just going to say Yoel Romero. I was like, oh, no, that guy's a monster.
Bro, yeah, I wouldn't take that fight. I ain't no bitch, but
It's a good thing he's up at 205 or heavyweight,
I
wherever he
mean,
is.
fuck, eventually he's going to have to peter out, but
Yeah.
I mean, we don't even know how old he is. Man.
He's
like
like
we don't even know.
He's an alien, dude. He's like 50 years old with an 8-pack, dude.
We don't know his origin, his age, his blood contents. There's a lot of things we don't know.
So you're looking at good competition, and the crazy thing is that it could only be 3 or 4 fights before you're like, if you just keep on smashing people.
Yeah, I'm right there. I'm right there to be pushing into like ranked opponents and shit. So it's exciting.
And then
really
from
exciting.
when you hit your first ranked opponent, all of a sudden it could be 3, 4 fights to where you're in a championship contention.
Yeah.
How do you feel about
Crazy,
that?
right? It feels, to be honest with you, it feels like there's more work that needs to be done.
Mm-hmm. So you want to take your time to get there.
I don't want to take my time, but I want to do it right. And I think I'm smart enough to know how to do it right. And I think I'm doing it right. So I'm just going to keep on doing it. I'm doing it.
One thing I've seen is there's guys that are unbelievably talented that sabotage their own career. Like I remember a guy that was at 165 in Whitewater. He was a roommate. He was a good friend, and he was an animal. But while everyone was out training, he was out drinking and then eating red velvet cake and like going off the rails and like having some real issues. And he kind of took him. Like he easily, I feel like, could have been a national champ or top 3 guy. Walk me through from what you've seen as a coach to what you've also witnessed as a competitor. Like, what makes or breaks guys, and do you also see that kind of self-sabotage creep into some guys?
What makes or breaks you is the mind. It's all the mind. Anyone who's good will tell you that. Yeah, if you're self-sabotaging yourself, that's obviously your mind. You don't believe that you can win, or you don't believe you deserve to win, whatever it is. I think that comes from having extraordinary gifts and then lacking the work ethic. I think that's usually where self-sabotage comes into place. But sometimes it comes from other places. I'm not quite sure. I've never really been a self-sabotager. I think I got a lot of that kind of shit out of the way when I was a kid. Went through all those, doing stupid stuff. And you kind of figure, some people don't figure that stuff out till later. I think I kind of figured a lot of that out early. So I think mentally, yeah, that's like the biggest thing. You gotta be with it. You gotta be consistent. You gotta be poised. You gotta be visualizing your success and your goals and all that shit. Like, you can work hard as fuck and be pushing in a direction that might still be up, but not, necessarily how it's supposed, You could run track every day as hard as you fucking can, but that's not going to make you win your fucking wrestling match. Like, it is definitely going to help you. You know what I mean? But knowing truly what you have to get better at, and that comes from the mind, so.
Do you feel any pressure to become like kind of a show business guy, in the sense where like the guys that are really standing out, like the Sugar Sean, the Connors of the world, kind of turn themselves into a character that like you got to talk shit, you got to do this and that. Like, have you ever felt the pressure to become more of that, or do you just?
So my mentor, Ben Askren, is, always on camera. He took big advantage of the limelight. You know, he struck when the iron was hot, and I think that's what you have to do with fame. I think that's what you have to do with notoriety. I think to sell yourself, to sell your name, that's what you have to do. I think that I'm in a position where I can definitely start talking shit, start saying what I want. I'm just kind of a guy who's always like done my shit talking. Personally to the person in the cage after the fight. Like, some people don't like that after fight stuff, but like to me, like, this isn't like, I don't know, this is so personal to me. Like, if I'm gonna talk shit, I'm gonna be saying it in your ear while we're fighting.
Have you done that recently?
Not really too much. But
does the guy have to piss you off to get to that point, or is it just, I don't care?
Dude,
who
it's
it
so
is?
personal for me. Like, when I fight you, like, I mean, maybe not for my last fight, and maybe that's like a sign of my maturity in the fighting. But I think in the beginning it was really easy to turn on the hate switch, which I can do. Just like, I want to fuck you up switch, and then you just turn that on, and then you're good to go. But that also takes a lot of juice out of the tank. You know what I mean? I think as you get against better people, it's tactical, sniper, you know, is the way to be.
And have you, like, do you notice, because I think one of the biggest things you can take from the sport of wrestling and bringing to fighting is the ability to mentally break people. Like, it sounds like a foreign concept to maybe that someone that hasn't been in a wrestling room, but anyone that's been there long enough has, if you're good, you've broken a lot of people, and if and you've also been on the receiving.
You've been broken, bro.
Yeah, and you've been on the receiving end of it as well.
There's no way around it.
And I remember there was a kid, my sophomore year, we had to do, Fader would have us do 15-minute grind matches, and it was you would have a partner and you have to do two relatively in a row, 2 15-minute grind matches. And I remember my kid didn't show up. So I had to drive to his house.
It's because your cardio was so good.
I had to wake him up and say, dude, we have a grind match. Silent car ride there, both of us in the car together. Lace up the shoes, go. And the first 15 minutes, I mean, this kid was good. It was I probably won like 10-2 or 10-3, which in 15 minutes is a pretty really, it's a close battle. But then the second grind match, he just broke. And it might have been like a couple hundred to however many times I let him up. And the only difference was his mind had been broken.
Yeah.
So walk people through that concept of just breaking people and how something can turn in your favor once that happens.
I'll tell you why. This is the secret to why Askren is tough. That is literally the reason why he's tough. Is he will go until the other person breaks. He's not faster. He's not stronger. He's not even necessarily, his technique is definitely different, but I mean, there's fucking just as good technique. Like, it's literally his ability to go no matter what. Like, you have to kill him to stop him. I think if you bring that mentality, it's really discouraging for the other person, because if you don't have that, you have to kill me to stop me mentality, you're not going to beat the guy who does. And you know it. Everyone knows it in the bottom of their heart, you know what I mean, or whatever you want to say. So when you feel that the other guy has that already gets them thinking, oh, fuck, you know what I mean?
It's going to be deep water, and that's scary.
When you add the time and the juice and the cardio on, you know what I mean, onto it, then you break them. So it's not just like what you're doing to them. It's like that they know that
it's not going to get
you know
easier.
that you're not going to stop. Yeah. And I got that from Ben. Like, I've done hour-long grind matches with him and shit. And it's like, that's what made me tough and realize and learn how to break people. It's like a learned skill. And
being on the receiving end of that, I remember a guy that we kind of he would consider me a friend of me because we were always at the same weight class. But me and Elroy Perkins, we each had the opportunity to break each other and be broken. And it is one of the scariest, worst feelings. Like, I remember when I was a freshman, it was one of those grind match situations, and it was like 3 minutes in, and the kid was on top of me with a lot of pressure, and I felt so much pressure that I felt like I was suffocating, and I almost felt like I was about to have a panic attack.
Yeah, now imagine someone's punching you in the face, too. Yeah, and that's what I do to people. I hold you till you fucking panic, and I punch you in the face.
And does talking shit help get people to that point at all? Or does that actually make them fight?
If you talk shit to someone, they're definitely going to get, their heart rate's going to go up. I mean, unless they just don't give a fuck, but that takes a certain individual. And
is that a tactic too? Because you might talk shit and then someone will fight harder for a little bit, but then they kind of gas out after that.
It all depends, yeah. I mean, typically that's what happens, yeah.
So people that are in probably the newer generation, their experience of Ben Askren is, oh my gosh, it's a guy that Jake Paul knocked out. But before that, he had one of the best college wrestlers of our era. I mean, one of the best American wrestlers in our history. A fighter that was undefeated for many, many years. Tell people, like, put some respect on Ben Askren's name. Tell them about the real Ben Askren.
Dude, he's a fucking dog. You can tell countless stories about that dude. He broke his toe in half in a fight and fucking popped out of his skin and popped it back in and kept fighting. Like, he's a dude. This is how I say it. He went into a full combat, like, fucking fight with machine guns, but he went in with a fucking pistol. You know what I'm saying? And got it done. That's the type of toughness, you know what I mean, it takes. It'd be like going in Call of Duty with just the pistol. You know what I'm saying? And still winning. That's what I describe it as. Yeah.
Is there anyone?
Which takes, you know what I mean?
Oh, that takes a special
person.
Yeah. Is there anyone that captures your attention in the fighting world? Like, my gosh, like this guy is just a dog or an animal or someone that really, really impresses me.
You know, I have like that fighter mentality where I don't try to fanboy anybody. I like almost look to the people of the past. But right now I think you got to look at Rafion Stotts.
Another guy that got developed he was a college wrestler, national champ, and then went through the Roofer Sports system.
Exactly. Yep. Rafion's a man. I'm really impressed with his work ethic and his ability.
When he goes into fights, he seems like he's the most relaxed person in the world. Like, he looks like he's walking into, like, he's about to go eat dessert or something. Like, it's no big deal. He makes it look like it's such a breeze. And, like, he's just, his aura going into the cage is so loose and fun.
He's put in his time. He's put in the time. He's there. He's put in the time. So it's like, why not be confident, you know?
Mm-hmm. So, Jordan, you're on your mission to become a champion. You're also bringing up the next generation of kids. What's something that you've learned being a coach?
For being a coach, I mean, it teaches you a lot. Obviously, it teaches me a lot of the technical aspects of the wrestling. It keeps my wrestling sharp. But it's something I've always wanted to do. It's something I've kind of been involved in, you know, with Ben and AWA for a long time. You know, I went to school. I got a minor in coaching. It's definitely always been a passion of mine. But really what I learned from it is just like how important the sport is, how much you can impact a kid, how much the kids look up to you, how important it is to have, you know, positive, you know, male role models like a coach that teaches you work ethic and shit that I think is just missing nowadays from society. It sounds kind of cliche, but I think it's honestly true. So I kind of take that into my coaching, and I think I've learned how beneficial that is for kids, and I think that's what it's taught me.
I'm really enjoying watching your journey, and it's just so fun to see a guy that has worked so hard and is such an animal getting out there, representing Whitewater, representing Milwaukee, and making moves. What kind of do you have any final thoughts or things you'd like to tell the people before we move on with our day here?
Man, thanks for having me on the show. Tommy G's always the fucking man. He's a blast. Make sure you check and subscribe. Thanks for having me on the show, man. I just want you guys to make sure you watch me reach the top and see me get that championship belt and fucking die trying. So
yes. You can find him on Instagram at NotHumanNewman. We'll put that link in the description. Catch him on TV fighting people in the Bellator cage and expect domination. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been an episode of the Tommy G Show, and we'll see you next episode.